All right, we eat tonight.
Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3.
For more than 3 decades, The Simpsons has existed as more than just a comedy. It has become a cultural mirror, sometimes distorted, sometimes surprisingly sharp, reflecting the anxieties, trends, and technological shifts of the real world. As we move closer to 2026, a new wave of online discussions has revived an old question. How does a cartoon from 1989 keep appearing to line up with real-world events? And more importantly, what are people claiming it suggests about the near future? The idea of Simpsons predictions for 2026 is not based on a single prophecy or confirmed forecast. Instead, it comes from patterns viewers believe they see when they connect past episodes with modern developments. Whether coincidence, satire, or hindsight bias, these interpretations have built a modern myth around the show, one that now stretches into the future. A cartoon that became a future mirror. When The Simpsons first aired in 1989, it was designed to parody American family life. But its writing style quickly evolved into something more layered. Satire mixed with exaggerated versions of real-world systems, politics, media, technology, and human behavior. Because the show runs continuously over decades, it has touched nearly every major cultural shift of the modern era. This long timeline is part of why people often link it to future events. When something unusual happens in real life, viewers sometimes recall a similar gag or storyline from years earlier. Social media then amplifies those comparisons, turning isolated coincidences into viral theories. As 2026 approaches, these theories have shifted focus from past matches to future speculation. Artificial intelligence, global instability, climate stress, and changing human lifestyles. AI anxiety and the rise of machine intelligence. One of the strongest themes in recent Simpsons prediction discussions is artificial intelligence. In various episodes across different seasons, the show has portrayed robots, automation, and smart systems behaving unpredictably, sometimes helpful, sometimes chaotic. Today, real-world AI systems write text, generate images, analyze data, and even assist in decision-making across industries. This rapid growth has led people to revisit older episodes where machines exceed human control or misunderstanding leads to unintended consequences. The 2026 speculation comes from extending this trend. Online discussions often claim that The Simpsons hinted at a near future where AI becomes deeply embedded in daily life, managing transportation, education, and communication, but also raising concerns about dependency and control. While there is no official 2026 AI prediction in the show, the fear it satirizes is very real. The possibility that society becomes so reliant on automated systems that it loses transparency over how decisions are made. Economic pressure and unstable systems. Another common interpretation involves the global economy. Over the years, The Simpsons has included jokes about financial crises, exaggerated debt scenarios, and collapsing institutions. These were never structured predictions, but satire of real economic anxiety. In today's world, inflation spikes, housing challenges, and global market instability have made audiences revisit those jokes with new seriousness. As a result, some viewers claim the show foreshadowed economic turbulence leading into 2026. What the series actually does is more subtle. It exaggerates the absurdity of financial systems to highlight how fragile they can feel to ordinary people. The connection to 2026 comes from current uncertainty, not from any specific storyline pointing forward. Still, the myth persists that the show somehow mapped out a roadmap of global instability decades in advance. Surveillance culture and digital exposure. One of the most frequently cited Simpsons-like themes is surveillance. Long before smartphones became central to life, the show joked about exaggerated government monitoring, cameras everywhere, and privacy being eroded by technology. In reality, modern society already lives in a data-driven environment. Phones track location, apps collect behavior patterns, and algorithms predict preferences. After major real-world revelations about mass surveillance in the 2010s, audiences began reinterpreting older Simpsons jokes as eerie reflections of reality. As 2026 approaches, speculation has evolved further. Some online theories suggest the show hinted at a world where digital identity becomes more important than physical identity, where personal data determines access to services, opportunities, and even reputation. While The Simpsons never explicitly depicted a 2026 surveillance system, its long-running satire of privacy loss continues to feel relevant as technology advances. Virtual worlds and emotional escape. Another recurring theme in modern interpretations is virtual reality. The show has occasionally depicted characters escaping into games, simulations, or exaggerated digital environments. These episodes were originally comedic commentary on escapism and entertainment culture. Today, with the growth of VR platforms, digital workspaces, and immersive gaming, those jokes feel closer to everyday life. People now spend hours in virtual meetings, online worlds, and augmented environments that blend entertainment with social interaction. This has led to speculation that 2026 could mark a turning point, where digital environments become as influential as physical ones. Some online discussions claim The Simpsons foreshadowed this shift by showing characters becoming disconnected from reality through technology. In truth, the show was not predicting a specific year. It was warning about something broader: the human tendency to replace real experiences with more controllable digital ones. Food systems, scarcity fears, and environmental stress. Food security is another area often linked to Simpsons predictions. Over the years, the show has featured exaggerated jokes about school lunches, industrial farming, and strange food substitutions. These were intended as humor about quality and bureaucracy, not forecasting. However, as climate change, supply chain disruptions, and rising global demand become more pressing issues, some viewers reinterpret these jokes through a modern lens. The 2026 speculation in this category revolves around concerns that food systems will continue to face pressure, whether from environmental conditions, population growth, or economic instability. While The Simpsons never mapped out real agricultural forecasts, its satire of mass production and consumption resonates more strongly today because those systems are now under real stress. Technology, automation, and unintended consequences. A major reason The Simpsons keeps resurfacing in prediction discussions is its consistent portrayal of technology going slightly wrong, not through apocalypse, but through human oversight, bugs, or unintended design flaws. From early gadgets to futuristic machines, the show repeatedly highlights a simple idea: systems built for convenience can become unpredictable when scaled. This theme connects naturally to modern concerns about automation. Self-driving systems, algorithmic decision-making, and AI-assisted infrastructure all promise efficiency, but also introduce complexity and risk. As people imagine 2026, they often extend this idea into broader questions. What happens when too many systems depend on each other? What if one failure cascades into another? The show never answers these questions. It only exaggerates them for humor. But that exaggeration is what makes it feel strangely relevant. Why people keep finding predictions. Psychologists often explain this phenomenon as pattern recognition. Humans are wired to connect dots, even when those dots are unrelated. When a long-running show produces thousands of jokes over decades, some will inevitably resemble future events. The Simpsons also benefits from timing. Because it has existed through multiple technological eras, it has joked about things before they were mainstream: smart devices, online culture, AI concepts, and global connectivity. When those ideas later become reality, the earlier joke appears prophetic, even if it was simply satire ahead of its time. This is why 2026 theories continue to spread, not because of hidden messages, but because the past is constantly being reinterpreted through the lens of the present. The psychology of future fear. The fascination with Simpsons predictions also reflects something deeper: uncertainty about the future itself. When people feel anxious about technology, politics, or the economy, they often search for narratives that make the future feel pre-written or understandable. A long-running show like The Simpsons becomes a convenient symbol for that uncertainty. It offers a structured illusion. If the future was already seen, then it feels less chaotic. But in reality, the show's power comes from something simpler. It observes human behavior exaggerates it, and returns it in comedic form. When reality later echoes those behaviors, it creates the illusion of foresight. Looking toward 2026. So what do the Simpsons predictions for 2026 actually point to? Not a literal forecast, but a collection of modern anxieties projected onto a familiar cultural icon. Artificial intelligence raises questions about control. Economic instability creates fear about systems we rely on. Surveillance technology challenges privacy. Virtual worlds reshape human interaction. Environmental stress affects resources and daily life. These are not predictions unique to any cartoon. They are real global discussions happening right now. The reason The Simpsons keeps appearing in these conversations is because it has spent decades exaggerating exactly these kinds of themes. Final reflection. The truth is simple, even if the myth is more exciting. The Simpsons did not predict 2026. It reflected decades of human behavior, technology, and political satire in a way that sometimes aligns with real-world developments. What feels like prophecy is often just repetition. Society encountering problems the show already joked about in exaggerated form. And as 2026 approaches, the real story is not whether a cartoon predicted the future, but why we keep looking to fiction to explain a world that is changing faster than we fully understand. In that sense, The Simpsons isn't a crystal ball. It's a mirror, and what people see in it often says more about the present than the future.